What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one, as we are going to preview the Dolphins Week 8 game against the Patriots as they face off for the second time. This time in one of the hardest buildings to win in, the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. Please do me the favor as you come in, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to get into it tonight. We're going to talk about some things. In the opening here, I'm going to talk about a narrative that's just unreal. What's going on, Lewis? How you doing, brother? I'm going to just crush people right now in the opening. That's for first thing that's going to happen. Second thing that's going to happen is we are going to go over Ramsey calling out Adam Schefter. And then we are going to get in full-blown to the game preview. Let's start off with this, man. Let's start off with this. You know, some of these people claim to know ball, and covered this team. Saying they have a remedial understanding of football would be a fucking compliment, okay? Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me play a clip for you, and then I'm going to go off. And sorry that I swore. I'm so frustrated because these people understand no ball, yet they try to lie to all of you, and they try to put out their agendas and their narratives, and it's hilarious to us who know ball, and that's why these people will never be respected in this community by the people who actually have pull in this community. All right? Let's play this clip. If you didn't see it, Darius Slay talked about Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and he talked about Tua Tagovailoa. Now, a portion of this clip was clipped out. Not the full thing, a portion, and tried to be twisted and misconstrued into something it isn't. So look to your right side, over my left shoulder, right over the Shula pitcher. Stare at that Shula pitcher.
And with Tua being a very, very accurate quarterback and great decision maker, our game plan was just basically, make him make more than one read and get on his read fast. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a great guy. He's on time. And that's what it's like. He's like a Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen Drew Brees play, he's a guy that's very much on time, know how to throw in spots that's, they expect the receiver to be there. So our job was like to disguise our defense as long as possible to make him second guess his read. So that's what our best bet was.
So that's what they tried to do. They tried to take away the first read and get him off his first read. Listen. I played the fucking position here. That's what every defense at every level does to quarterbacks. Brother, it don't have to be Pee-wee. It don't have to be NFL. It could be Pee-wee. What are you trying to do? You're trying to, bro, I can't, people are trying to twist this and, well, I told you, Tua's a one-read quarterback. See, he can't read defenses. His first read when it's gone. Are you crazy? Did you not see Tua against Philly? Tua made one bad throw, and it should have been a DPI or a hold at minimum. Shouldn't even have been an interception. Look at the dots that man was throwing. How many times have we shown, when you watch me and Martin, this man going through progressions, making the second, third, or coming back to the first progression and making the throw? But you got people out here saying they have a remedial level understanding of football would be a compliment to them because they're such morons. They're such idiots. They're such clowns. All right? These people have no understanding of football. They're nothing but couch casuals who decided to start a YouTube channel, start a Twitter account, start a Facebook page. And for whatever reason, they caught traction. It certainly wasn't for football knowledge. They caught traction, and now, whether it's subs, followers, whatever the case, that makes them think that they know football. No, it doesn't. Defenses at every level plan to take away the first read. That's one of the first things you want to do. What are we talking about here? Like, we are talking about some grade A level idiocy. Just stop talking football. Y'all were either playing in marching bands. Y'all are out here. Some of y'all are buying subs and lying about playing football when you got jowls like pelicans, and it's clear you never played it down because we've listened to y'all talk about football. And even if you played at a lower level, you would understand some of the things that y'all get wrong. Can't call coverages without checking them on Google. Even then, I've seen some of y'all not even be able to call cover 3 and cover 4 properly. What are we talking about right now? And what's even better is listen to this. Darrell Bevell, who we went over this yesterday. That's why I'm bringing this all up again. Yesterday, we brought up this quote with me and Neil. Darrell Bevell, Brett Favre followed him from Green Bay to Minnesota. Green Bay's biggest rival. And this guy followed him there. Okay? This guy, Russell Wilson's best years under Darrell Bevell. All right? And this is what Darrell Bevell said yesterday. One of the things Tua has done the best at is last year, because it was a new offense. There were a lot of times the number one option was open. Opponents see how you do things. You have to make sure you have mastered the whole play and the full progression. That's something Tua has really taken to this year and adapted really well. There have been times number one is not open and he has been able to progress, and he has been pretty seamless. One of the best offensive quarterback minds in the NFL from a coaching level is saying that about Tua Tagovailoa. But let me listen to these guys on Twitter and YouTube who, when it comes to football, don't quite frankly know their ass from their face. Stop it right now. Same people trying to push a spot throwing narrative when you have to be a spot thrower in the NFL or you're not going to last. Those are the exact words of JT O'Sullivan of the quarterback school, who came on my show and played 10 years of ball at the NFL level. They don't even understand that calling someone an elite spot thrower is a compliment. That's how dumb these people are. But they keep talking on my quarterback, and they keep talking about a position they have zero understanding of. Zero. And then the people that buy into it, I'm sorry, but when you buy into those narratives, you're dumber than the person spewing them. Because common sense should be kicking in at some point, saying, man, these people are always wrong. They haven't been right one thing they've said about this kid, but let's keep listening to them and keep pushing their narratives when they've been wrong for 4 years. Haven't got one thing wrong, even outside the quarterback. Haven't got anything right. Guys with zero, like the worst track records and zero credibility when it comes to knowing ball, knowing the team, understanding the team. Can't even sniff the draft and see. When you talk about evaluating players, that's when you can tell who can and can't watch film. When you can evaluate players properly, you can watch film. You can know what's going on. You don't need the playbook in front of you. But these guys, there's a reason why they can't sniff my jockstrap when it comes to the draft. There's a reason why. Because they're all lying to y'all and trying to put on this fraudulent, oh, I know everything. And it's all down to ego. It's all because these people don't want to be viewed as the furthest thing from the smartest in the room. They want all of you to view them as the smartest there is out there. Listen, I don't have to want people to view me as that. I already have people that view me as that a lot more than these people will ever have. You know why? Because I know what the hell I'm doing and I know what the hell I'm saying. And they keep coming back on my quarterback. See, I told all y'all. When these people were praising us 3-0 and all this what did I say? What did I say? All these people. And I would have been right if we would have beat Philly and we would have lost to KC. It would have been the same crap. It would have been the same crap. Right? They're all the same people that were pushing the goalposts when every time Tua was crushing last year. Oh, well, let's see him tell this. Well, okay, let's see him tell this. Until they finally were running out. Well, okay, then we finally got to December. Okay, well, let's see him in December. And then they're the same people that tried to pin the Bills loss on him when clearly Tyreek and Sherfield each had a chance to score the winning catch the winning touchdown. And if Josh Boyer could get us off on 3rd and long before the half, we win that game. And that's what it is. Richard, you don't tell me what to do. You're a member of my channel. So you don't tell me what to do. Because there's a lot of names that go on this. There's multiple. I see them on Twitter. I see them on YouTube. Don't act like there's just one. You say put a name on it. There's multiple. And another thing too, see, about playing football, there's people who have never played a game of football, but they know what they're talking about. So I don't really subscribe to the fact if you've never played football, you don't know what you're talking about. But there are people who have never played football that lie about playing football, and they act like they have played football, and they try to talk like they've played football. It's everywhere. Like, so I don't, we see these kids. There's kids in their early 20s. All right, perfect example. I'll give you an example. Do y'all think Dante Collinelli played at a really high level? Do you really think Dante Collinelli played at a high level? And Dante Collinelli is one of the best evaluators out there, especially in the Fins community. And he knows film. He knows what he's watching. Because it's one of those things where if you never played it, you can still put in the work and the time. Guys, these people never put in the work and the time. They saw me and EM Dolphin fan come around and talk about film and refer to film and use film to back our statements. They saw the following, the respect, and everything else we were getting. And they said, oh, let me get on that too, when they don't even know what they're doing. That's literally what happened. But there's tons of people who put in the research, who go to academies, blah, 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 because there are academies out there that will teach you. There's tons of people who do that. They're in the draft community. There's tons of people in the draft community who have never played ball, but they know how to watch film and they're damn good at it. But they put in the work. And they put in the work for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, McDaniel still played college ball at Yale. So, I mean, you can't knock that, right? He's still a wide receiver at Yale playing college ball. So, what are you going to say to him, right? He knows. But I'm talking about people who didn't even play college ball. Hell, there's some people who didn't even play high school ball. But they put in the work. They know what they're doing. They were taught by people who know what they're doing. And they're good at it. You got people who went from their couch to Twitter fingers or onto YouTube trying to tell all you, oh, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And they keep coming for my quarterback, and they keep talking about stuff they don't know about when it comes to my team. And I've had it up to here, man. And you don't want me to call names, because if I go nuclear, I will bury people. I buried people before when they had bigger sub counts or bigger followings than me. Don't think I can't do it again, especially now where I'm at. And it's ridiculous. Stop talking on stuff you don't know about. Oh my God. Jeez, it's unbelievable. It really is, man. So, listen. Who are you going to trust? You don't even have to trust me. You don't even have to listen to me. Who are you going to trust? Daryl Bevell or these people who don't know what they're talking about? Right? Because the film backs up what Daryl Bevell is saying. Daryl Bevell's not just picking narratives out of the air and throwing them at you. If you've been watching the film with me and Martin every week, you can see what he's saying. See, this is why the saying is, and I see what Daryl said there, this is why the saying is knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. When it's used properly, it's very powerful. But it can be also powerful and misguiding by misguiding and misinforming the masses when used wrongly or when improper knowledge is spread around. False knowledge. Let's call it lies. You want me to call lies, okay? Lies, all right? So, listen, all I'm going to say to you is, please, I've educated y'all enough over the past 4 years. Call out and don't fall for the BS. If If you've been watching this channel for 4 years, you're more educated than these people putting out the false narratives and the agendas, all right? So call it out. Don't let it go on, because you know what? They're trying to pull us down when we're 5-2. We got a chance to go 7-2 heading into the bye. We got a lot of good stuff coming up on the horizon here, man. A lot of good stuff. So, can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. You know? Ray Finkel says, dude, let them sniff that jock strap. Oh, brother. These people would probably put it in shrines. People would probably put it in shrines. It was the closest thing that had ever come to being a real content creator. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So, yeah. And Dean Brown, there are a ton of people who don't know football. I mean, just because you don't know how to decipher that doesn't mean it ain't happening. It is what it is. So, that said, listen. This whole one read stuff, now they're trying to... notice how when they clipped it out, they left out the part where Darius Slay compared him to Drew Brees too, and these people claim to be Dolphin fans. They leave out the Drew Brees comparison, and they try to use the first half and twist it in, but they leave out the Drew... Notice how they all left out the Drew Brees comparison, the ones that tried to twist that into two as a one-read quarterback. They left out the Drew Brees part. They left out where Darius Slay basically says he's Drew Brees. Let's leave that out. Oh, don't want that in there. See? I showed y'all the whole clip of when Darius Slay talked about Tua. Not a little piece, because I'm trying to fit narratives. See? That's the difference. You know, go over there, believe whoever you choose, but come on over here and you're going to see the truth. All right? Like, right? That right there should tell you what kind of people these people are. What? All right? They're scum. They're scum. So that's the type of people they are. So let's get into this. Before we're going to keep the drama going, baby. This is a drama episode. Let's go. And we're going to keep it going with Jalen Ramsey. And because this happened yesterday. Look at this. Dolphins are planning for Jalen Ramsey to make his return Sunday from the knee injury that he suffered this summer, per sources. Ramsey now is expected to be back on the field 3 months after his knee surgery, with his Dolphins debut coming versus the Patriots. So that was what was tweeted out. This was the response. So this is why I just got a crazy amount of texts. Well, this is news to me. MFers don't care about being right. They care about being first in today's media. Now, he would reply to his own tweet and say, I messed with him. I just don't understand. This is news to me. Shout out to Robert for becoming a member. So he would say in a response, I do mess with Schefter. And I'm going to show you another response too. But in a direct reply to this, because Jalen Ramsey has his Twitter set up where only where only people he follows can reply. So he replied to his people followed or mentioned can reply. So he replied to it and said, I messed with Schefter, but blah, 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 blah. But, he was still calling him out in a way, right? And talk about, one of the things Schefter's always been knocked for is trying to be first to the media. Remember, there was an article last year in July where anonymous ESPN employees were just ripping Adam Schefter. They called him an effing worm. They ripped on him for what he did with Dalvin Cook when he said Dalvin Cook was a victim of domestic abuse and extortion in a case which has yet to be adjudicated, where a woman is also accusing of domestic violence, right? The woman, her attorney, accused Schefter of journalistic malpractice too. And don't forget, remember that tweet he had when he said Dwayne Haskins, a standout at Ohio State before struggling to catch on with Washington and Pittsburgh in the NFL, died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida, per his agent Cedric Saunders. Haskins would have turned 25. And remember, he caught all the backlash for how he worded that. So Schefter, and then he caught all the backlash for the whole Deshaun Watson thing about basically, vindicated Deshaun Watson, saying, he wanted to take this trial because he always believed in an innocent. And then he talked about how like a court found him in it. It was just very tasteless. So Schefter has, a bad history of tasteless tweets, and he's been wrong a few times trying to, get out ahead of it. And that was clearly a jab. And then Ramsey even followed it up, and he clarified his own comments because he saw people were kind of cooking Schefter. And he did say, full transparency, there's a chance I can play this Sunday, but that decision generally isn't made yet. So that is news to me, just like it is to all y'all. I have to go through a whole process to feel great enough to play. I won't play if I feel any less than great. And then he'd even respond to that. And he'd talk about how he's a glass half full type of guy. And he'd tell everyone he's had a couple great practices, blah, 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 blah. But
with Tua being a very, very accurate quarterback.
It's the same reason why I'm not like getting into Tyreek Hill and what's his face and Stephen A. Smith anymore, because Stephen A. Smith and Tyreek Hill, apparently Stephen A. Smith is about to be on It Needed to Be Said. Tyreek Hill responded to Stephen A. Smith yesterday again in his latest It Needed to Be Said podcast, but it didn't really go anywhere. There was nothing really said, you know what I mean? So, and then the word coming out is that they're going to do a show together. So, I'm not going to really feed into that more. But now with this Ramsey thing, the thing here is, even Ramsey said there's a chance he's going to play. But look at what he said. Schefter, someone in that building was clearly feeding Schefter, who obviously must be part of the decision-making process if Schefter felt good enough to tweet that out. And so you're going to ask me what's up? It sounds to me like there was a conversation happening behind closed doors of like, okay, he looks like he's ready to go. What are we going to do? Are we going to massage him into it with a snap count? Are we going to let him go right away? Like, it seems like there was talking of what they would do with him in game. So there was a sense of, all right, Ramsey's going to be going this weekend because they're talking and they're planning on how they're going to use him this weekend. That got back to Schefter, and then he reported it. That, if you ask me, that would seem like how it went down. That would seem like how it went down, and it got back. And I'm sure, I know Ann Nola, the chick we brought over from New England, who she helps out McDaniel, and she took a lot on when Jason Jenkins passed away. She took a lot on in terms of his job as well, and they didn't up her salary either. And so I know she's probably not going to be happy, if that did get out, and they're going to be trying to find out who did put that out. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Personally, with me, when Ramsey, listen, I'm going to be talking a lot about stuff on 3 Takes tomorrow for Patreons, and I'll have a written update for channel members under the community tab. Listen, there's a lot of stuff to discuss here with guys who are going to be back. Let me put it this way. When you talk about, the Chiefs game, and you talk about Tyreek, and you talk about Teron Armstead, you talk about Connor Williams, right? I'm leaving an Isaiah Wynn out. I'm going to have more information on that in my 3 Takes video, but I'm leaving Isaiah Wynn out. But when you're talking about Tyreek, Connor, X, Jalen, and Armstead, those 5 guys, I think Teron Armstead's the only one that's really 50-50 for that Chiefs game. I think everyone else is going to be back for that Chiefs game, minus Wynn, obviously. So we're going to see how it goes, but we got a lot to go over here with the injury report, all of that kind of jazz. So we're going to keep pushing it. We're going to get into it. Please do me the favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you are new. Appreciate all y'all, man. We've had over 520 subs over the last few weeks, so I appreciate all y'all. Man, I appreciate the support, man. We are well on our way to 13K. We're only about 200 and we are right now, as it stands, about 226 subscribers away from 13K. Let's get there, baby. Let's get there. Smash that like button. Help us out. Get us flowing so we can get into people's feeds and they can watch and they can subscribe and they can enjoy the best Dolphins live content out there, baby. All right. For all of you heading to the game Sunday, I know there was a report out there about snow today. I don't know what they're talking about with snow because this is what it's looking like. It's looking like there is a chance of showers and a thunderstorm. Now, you never like seeing thunderstorms out there because why? Fact of the matter is this. That can delay the game. We don't like seeing that. But there's a chance of rain showers before 8 p.m., then a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low of around 76. Northeast wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. And the precipitation chance is about 40%. It is going to be about 84 and get down to 83. It's going to be 84 at kickoff, get down to about 83 by the fourth quarter. It's going to feel like 89, get down to about 87. The precipitation probability is about 36 to 40%. And it's going to be a cloudy night. You're going to have about 41 to 42% cloud cover out there. Sorry, cloudy day. Why am I saying night? So it could be slick out there on the football field. And hey, it could be a game where you're forced to win the trench battle and forced to push the ball on the ground. You have to. And I don't say there's a spy. It's called common knowledge. Kyle Van Noy even talked about this in the clip I played. Players and coaches go to these guys. That's been happening for years. Clearly, there was a conversation going on. Schefter's not just going to come out and pluck something out of the air and say, well, Ramsey's starting this weekend. No, he was told by someone. Therefore, a conversation had to have happened. It's common sense. I mean, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm Sherlock Holmes. Like, this is literally common. 2 plus 2 is 4 as well, in case people didn't know. So, the weather, it could be, the ball could be wet. I don't know. I won't sit here and say it's going to be cold. But the ball could be wet. It could be one of those slick games. Ball could be slippery. So protecting the football is going to be of the utmost importance. I'm looking at you, Raheem Mostert, with your fumble, with your fumbleitis that you've had recently. All right, I'm looking at you. Now let's get into the real conversation. The injury report. My God, is it extensive? So. Here is the deal. Listen, Tyreek, Hill, and Jalen Waddle did not have designations by the end of the week, so they are confirmed to go, as is David Long, Caterco. Everyone's good to go. Braxton Berrios was away from personal reasons today, so he's good to go. Don't worry about that. Now, Connor Williams, questionable. Cam Smith came up with a foot injury. He's questionable now. Jalen Ramsey is questionable. Nick Needham's questionable. Raheem Mostert says he will go. Alec Ingold's questionable. Xavier Howard's questionable. Javon Holland is in concussion protocol. He was out of his non-contact jersey, so he's trying to come back. River Craycraft is questionable. Now, the thing is, IR spots. Right? Like, are we about to start using IR spots on River Craycraft right now? We got to use it. We got to already create space for Jalen Ramsey here. And if Cam Smith goes to IR, probably not going to be good for the rest of his season because of all the ones we have left. It's probably not going to be good for him. Let's be honest here. So I'm hoping stays okay, stays clean, and we can get some guys going. Now, today, Connor Williams, Mike McDaniel said today he expects Connor Williams to be active. He just doesn't know if he's going to start. Now, I'll go through. He said Tyreek had a quote-unquote phenomenal practice Thursday. All right. McDaniel said Connor Williams, this is a quote, my gut tells me he'll be active. I'm not sure yet if he's going to start. Listen, if Connor Williams is active and not starting, what are we doing with our life right now? What are we doing for life? Raheem Mostert was able to practice Thursday. McDaniel said he was very happy with the way he looked. And Raheem Mostert also told reporters he's good to go. Now, in terms of Jeff Wilson, we're all wondering where he didn't get snaps. McDaniel talked about they were planning to get him some touches last week. So it looks like he'll be ramped up a little bit more. Cam Smith, in terms of him going on IR, McDaniel said the team is, quote unquote, not totally thinking that, but not saying it's off the table. Here's the thing. People are wondering what's happening at left guard. I got bad news for all y'all. Lester Cotton played with the first group on Wednesday. Kendall Lamb mentioned this week. Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg are also options. But when you find out that Lester Cotton was taking snaps this week with the ones, that's not good. Now, if Javon Holland can't go due to that concussion, word is Brandon Jones is going to be going for him. And we do not want that. We do not want that at all. Brandon Jones was getting cooked on his reps when he was out there. So you need Javon Holland. Over 305 of you in the room. Smash that like button. You need Javon Holland out there. And now it sounds like this is going to be the option at left guard. Lester Cotton was getting reps this week with the ones. If Connor Williams is back at center, it's going to be a battle between Lester and Eichenberg and Robert Jones for left guard. I'm hoping, listen, with Robert Jones, McDaniel did say some things about him and said, he's a good player. He's hard to keep down, blah, 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 right? Like, he bigged him up. He said a lot of good things about Robert Jones. But I'm telling you right now, the issue is probably game shape. That's probably your issue right now. Who's in game shape? Scotty, don't put that energy on me out there. I need Holland out there. I need him to clear protocol. We need a miracle. We need a miracle, man. So, that's the plan at left guard. The problem is, what I'd be worried about is, are they going to start Eichenberg if Connor Williams is good to go? Because got to trade for a guard, baby. I need James Brunskill, Cody Whitehair, Cesar Ruiz, or Ezra Cleveland. I need them yesterday. I think Javon Holland's going to play, guys. So, just a gut feeling. I think he's going to play. Just a gut feeling. So, let's look at how these teams stack up and compare against each other. The Dolphins still have the number one offense in the NFL, 462.3 yards per game. The Patriots are the 25th. Not good at all. Passing offense, the Patriots are 21st. The Dolphins are first. Dolphins averaging about 300 yards per game. Patriots averaging about 208.9. Rushing offense, Dolphins, even after putting up under 100 yards last week, are still number one in the NFL, averaging 162.3 yards per game, while the Patriots are 27th, which is 85.4 yards per game. And why that should be concerning for Patriots fans is that's usually never where they've dipped off on. And Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott are just not doing anything overly impressive right now for the Patriots. I mean, when you look at them and you look at what they're doing, Ezekiel Elliott, he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Ramondre Stevenson's averaging 3.1 yards per carry. Nothing great. They each have 2 touchdowns. Passing offense, no wonder. I mean, Mac Jones averaging 6.4 yards per completion and about 211.4 yards per game himself. 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Nothing really good. Anyways, continuing on how these teams compare. Scoring offense, they are 31st. They're only putting up 14.4 points per game. They're averaging under 15 points per game. The Dolphins are number one. They're averaging about 34.29 points per game. Best in the NFL. Dolphins have only allowed 10 sacks, third best in the NFL, tied for it. The Patriots, they've allowed 15, which is tied for 10th best in the NFL. Now, when you look at third down offense, the Dolphins are 11th in the NFL, converting at about a 42.9% clip. The Patriots, they're 23rd. They're converting about a 36.1% clip. Now, where it really starts to shift to the other side, here's the defense. The Patriots defense is 9th in the NFL right now. They're allowing about 311.3 yards per game. The Dolphins' total defense is about 21st. They're allowing about 345.3 yards per game. Passing defense, the Dolphins have the 20th ranked passing defense, so it's ranked better than by one spot than the 21st passing offense in the NFL, which the Patriots bolster. Dolphins allowing about 233.0 yards per game. Patriots, they're allowing about 210.6 yards per game, which is 12th best in the NFL. Rushing defense, the Patriots, again, they're good. 13th best. They're only allowing about 100.7 yards per game. The Dolphins, but remember what we did them. We got more. We got like 140 plus yards on them in week 2, so we could do it. The Dolphins, though, they're allowing about 112.3 yards per game, which is 19th best in the NFL. Scoring defense, the Dolphins are allowing 26.7 points per game, which is 27th in the NFL. The Patriots are allowing 25.3 points per game, which is 24th in the NFL. Sacks, the Dolphins already have 24 sacks, which is third best in the NFL. While the Patriots, they only have 13. That's 24th in the NFL. They are just not getting the pressure, and they are not getting to the quarterback. And if you're going to give Tua Tagovailoa an easy day and a day to have a picnic back there, he's going to crush you. Third down defense, the Patriots are 14th. They're allowing a 37.9% clip. The Dolphins are allowing a 40% clip, which is 18th in the NFL. In terms of takeaways, the Dolphins have 7, which is 22. The Patriots have 5, which is 27. And on giveaways, the Dolphins, they've only given away the ball 10 times, which is 17th. And the Patriots have given the ball away 12 times, which is 27th. So that's how the two teams stack up when you had, it's a tale of two sides of the football, right? You know, I mean, the Dolphins have had 3 games where they've allowed a lot of points. The Chargers game, the Bills game, and the Philly game. They've allowed over 30 points per game. And it's really skewed them. Like, I'd love to look at what the Patriots are averaging in terms of points allowed per game right now, because it's going to be ridiculous. But, you know, you can see the defense is coming up, right? Other than the scoring one right now, every other metric is starting to climb, especially from where we were after the first couple weeks. So we're getting better. And I think by the end of the year, this will be a tale of two times. Like, after this game, the interesting to me is, okay, take all those numbers for the first half of the season and see what they're averaging. Then I want to take the numbers for the second half of the season and see what they're averaging. And I want to see if there is a visible and noticeable improvement with this defense. And they're going to get healthy. Needham's back. Needham's going to be back. You know, Ramsey and X are going to be back. They're going to get healthy too. So this team's only going to get better, man. 5-2, and we've been battling everything we've been battling injury-wise. Wait until this team's healthy. So let's get into my keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Let's start off with the offense. So my offensive keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill is due for breakout. Quiet last week, hasn't had a 100-plus receiving yard game against the New England Patriots since 2018 when he was with KC, when he put up 142 yards on 7 catches for 3 touchdowns. Closest he came to 100 yards was last year on September 11th in his first game against them as a Dolphin, where he had 94 yards in 8 catches. He only has 2 receiving touchdowns over his last 5 games against the Patriots. Held to 40 yards in week 2 and also had a drop last week. So you know Tyreek Hill is inspired to get back on track. You know that's what he's looking to do. You know Tyreek looking to have a big potential weekend out there against the New England. He's due for one. He is literally due for one. So I'm praying it's this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen. That's for sure. Because we are going to need all hands on deck. And an interesting thing, right? Like, Tyreek Hill this year has not had back-to-back games. He's had back-to-back games of 150 receiving yards or more, but he has not had a back-to-back game this season of under 100 yards. So, Tyreek Hill, I think he's due for a breakout. Number 2 for me is the offensive line needs to keep Tua upright and not disrupt the offense's timing. Could field a lineup of Lamb, Lester Cotton, Eichenberg, Hunt, and Jackson on Sunday if they say Connor ain't going, but it looks like he will be. And we've seen bad snaps cost us run plays, right? Eichenberg. Also seen it get guys hurt, right? Armstead, win. Almost got Austin Jackson and one of Hunt or Jackson hurt. So, and we've also seen holds and false starts in key situations from the backups. You can't have that. You got to let Tua get as comfortable as possible. You can't disrupt the timing of this offense at all. We need a clean game. And third and finally, if you run it, the points will come. 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 Miami are 0-2 this season. They're 2 losses when they rush less than 20 times. And they were in both games into the fourth quarter. So you can't even use game flow as an excuse. They had 19 against Buffalo and only 12 against Philly. So they are 5-0 when they rush more than 20 times this year. They're also averaging, check this one out, 18.5 points per game when they run less than 20 times. And they're averaging 40.6 points per game when they run it 20 times or more. Remember, Raheem the Dream, had 121 yards and 2 touchdowns on 18 carries in week 2 against this New England Patriots defense. If you run it, the points will come. If you run it, the points will come. All I'm saying is if you run it, the points will come, man. That's all there is to it. All right? Shout out to Robert for getting the Field of Dreams reference. Love it. Damn right. Love that movie. Fantastic, especially playoff baseball, right? I'm rooting for the D-backs. I'm a Corbin Carroll guy. I pulled some Corbin Carroll autos, so I'm invested in Corbin a little bit. So I'm rooting for Corbin, and I got a big parlay play on him tonight. So if you run it, the points will come. So Tyreek Hill, I think he's due for a breakout based on he's never had 2 games back-to-back this season with under 100 yards, let alone he hasn't had a 100-yard game against the Patriots since 2018 when he was with KC. So I think he's due. All right? Offensive line, keep Tua upright and not disrupt the timing of the offense so we can execute these run plays. And we can do what we got to do and run the football. Jesus, Lord Almighty. Don't get away from it. You were successful doing it week 2 against them. Keep it rolling. So those are my offensive keys as we head into week 8. Let's flip on over to the defensive keys for y'all. You got to replicate that pressure you got in week 2, but you're going to be facing a healthier Patriots offensive line. So Miami had 22 pressures in week 2. Chubb had 6 of those. AVG had 5. Wilkins had 3. Long Jr. had 3. Seiler had 2. Then Deshaun Hand, Raekwon Davis, and Ogba each had 1. You also had 4 sacks, and Chubb forced a fumble. Phillips was not healthy that game. He is now healthy and in the rotation. And we saw he had a really good week last week. Now, here's the issue. The problem is it looks like Sidney Sow and Trent Brown are going to be back, right? So you can't feast on Calvin Anderson at left tackle. He's out anyways. Or Antonio Maffey at right guard. Remember, it could be between the two of them in week 2 against the Dolphins defense. Maffey and Anderson let up a combined 5 pressures on 2 sacks. Each of them allowed 1 quarterback hit and 2 hurries. So that's 5 pressures you can essentially potentially wipe off the board, and that's 2 sacks that really matter in that could, out of your 4, that's half your sacks. So you're going to have to find a way to generate that pressure even though they're a little healthier on the offensive line right now. Number 2, I'm going to say is you got to keep those turnovers coming. The Dolphins picked off Mac Jones once in week 2 with Xavier Howard, and they forced a Demario Douglas fumble that they obviously didn't recover, but they have been cold turnover-wise until last week when they had 2 against Philly with the interception and fumble recovery. Before that, Miami had gone 3 weeks without a defensive turnover. In fact, they had gone since the Broncos game when they forced 1 interception and recovered 2 fumbles. This is a perfect opportunity with Ramsey back potentially to keep that momentum going, shift the field a few times in the offense's favor, and overall make life easier for the offense and the team overall. You got to keep those turnovers coming. You were cold for a 3-week span. You exploded last week for 3. Keep them rolling against a team that you picked off in week 2 and did force a fumble, though you didn't recover as well in that same week. And you're going to have to get off the field on 3rd down, ladies and gentlemen. Miami allowed the Patriots to convert 7 of 15 first downs in week 2, which is about 47%. That's their 2nd highest conversion rate in a game this season. Second only to the Patriots' week 6 game against the Raiders, where they were 6 of 12 for 50%. So they had 3 more attempts against the Dolphins, right? They only averaged 36.1% on the season 2 in terms of converting 3rd downs. So I know it was against a tush push, but especially after you let Philly convert 4 of 7 failed 3rd downs on 4th down last week, you got to make a statement and you got to get off the field on 3rd down. You have to get off the field on 3rd down. If you keep those turnovers coming, if you get out the field consistently on 3rd down, and you find a way to replicate that pressure you had in week 2 that clearly made Mac Jones uncomfortable at times, the defense is going to do its job and make life a whole hell of a lot easier for this offense to put the points up on the board, get this game into a stranglehold early in the rock, and take it over. And overall, I got to say this too. It's not up here on the offensive or the defensive keys to victory, but I will add, Tua and McDaniel, again, need to be prepared for anything to be thrown their way from Belichick, like the 3 high safeties and double robber looks we saw in week 2, or anything that has worked this season. You saw the double, you've seen the double and sometimes 3-man coverage, specifically on Hill at times. You know, that's why I thought he would use what Staley did last year with the rerouting and such. Belichick is a master of watching tape, figuring out what works, and using, again, we saw him use Fangio's defense in the Super Bowl against the Rams and totally nullified that Gurley run game and everything they had with it. So the 3 high safety and the dual robber look didn't work. What's he going to have up his sleeve potentially this week for you? You got to be prepared for it. You got to be prepared. He threw everything in the kitchen sink in week 2. This is his last chance to get that W against you this year. You best believe he's going to pull out the stops. And then my matchup to watch is an interesting one here, and I'll say it for a few reasons. Did you know that other than J.C. Jackson's reps against Tyreek Hill in week 1 when he was with the Chargers, because he's now with the Patriots, did you know that was the first time him and Tyreek had ever matched up one-on-one when Tyreek was actually targeted? J.C. Jackson had never covered Tyreek Hill before, whether he's in KC or whatever the case may be. I looked back and I did the research. He had never covered Tyreek when Tyreek had been targeted before he saw him in week 1. And now you're asking, okay, well, what did Tyreek do in that first matchup? Tyreek had 2 catches on 5 targets for 64 yards, 2 first downs, and 1 touchdown against J.C. Jackson. And the one-time meeting clearly went in Tyreek's favor. Now, JC, since he joined New England, has only allowed 10 receptions on 20 targets for 82 yards and 1 touchdown. Here's the thing. Most of those 10 receptions and 82 yards and that 1 touchdown came last week against Buffalo when he allowed 7 receptions, so 7 of the 10 he's allowed, on 10 targets for 61 yards and a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. So, listen, he was good in his first 2 games back, but then last week, Stephon Diggs kind of gave him the work a little bit, right? Very similar stat line. 7 receptions on 10 targets for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. Remember, Tyreek Hill did all that on half. He had 2 catches on 5 targets for 64 yards, 2 first downs, and 1 touchdown in week 2 against J.C. Jackson. So this could be a match that the Dolphins could exploit and expose where, again, I go back to Tyreek Hill due for a breakout, and they're putting him up against a guy who's going to see a lot, that he already put up 64 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 first downs up against on only 2 receptions in week 2. So this could potentially be a very big game for Tyreek Hill. This could be huge. Huge in terms of the stat line and what he may be able to do to J.C. Jackson. So that's my matchup to watch heading into this game. You know, I think I alluded to Tyreek Hill last time they faced off and me just thinking he was due for a breakout. Now I think it's even heavier when you look at the fact he hasn't had 2 games this year back-to-back where he's had under 100 yards. He had 88 last week. What does that tell you? He might be due for over 150. And you look at what the Dolphins said last week after their loss to the Eagles, you know, in the locker room to reporters who would listen. They know they got screwed last week, and they said they felt sorry for whoever they got to face next. Well, it's this team. It's this team. It's the New England Patriots. Now, what am I thinking in terms of score? What am I thinking here in terms of score? This is what I'm going to say. I am going to take the Dolphins 34-18. That's the number that pops out to my head. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins 34-18. I think this team, you know, look at what the Bills lost to the Patriots last week because division games are always so tough. And I get that. And, you know, you look at what we did in the first half to them last time. We crushed them. We were killing them in that first half. And then we kind of took our pedal off the gas, and that game was a little bit closer than it should have been. Mix that in with the fact of how pissed off this team is after what just happened in Philly. And I don't see this ending well for the New England Patriots. Mac Jones right now is not playing good football. You can say whatever you want to say. Mac Jones, we're not talking about a guy who has the ability to get out and make plays happen like, say, a Jalen Hurts. So when you look at him and you see that, you know, Jalen Hurts went 7 pass touchdowns and 7 interceptions heading into that game against us, but he could make things happen out of the pocket, and that's how he killed us a little bit. Mac Jones can't do that. Mac Jones has thrown 7 touchdowns for 7 interceptions. He's just not putting up numbers. He's turning the ball over. I just don't see how this ends well for them. Especially if Ramsey's back and this team's they're going to be re-energized coming home. Then potentially Ramsey stepping on that field. I just don't see how this ends well for the New England Patriots. I really don't. And if all those factors weren't playing in, like if we had beat Philly last week, I would probably say, okay, this is going to be a close game because this team's feeling themselves a little bit back to division rival. But this team is pissed off. And I think they're looking to make a statement. And if you can make a statement against a team that just beat the Bills, that sends a message to the Bills. So with Ramsey coming back, with the energy of Ramsey coming back, with the energy of being back home, with the energy of being pissed off, I just don't see a lot of factors working against the New England Patriots right now. So listen, Patreon members, I'm going to have 3 takes for you tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk about Xavier Howard in a little bit in depth. I'm going to talk about some of these injuries and some of the stuff I didn't talk about tonight that I'm saving for all y'all. And then I will also have a write-up for the community tab for channel members as well. Expect that tomorrow. Listen, I'm going to be live on Sunday before the game starts, about 12:45, so expect me. And then we're going to have the 5th quarter post-game show. Hopefully we're celebrating a 6-2 victory as we get ready for Frankfurt, Germany. But listen, smash that like button. Please do me the favor. Over 305 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you for spending some of your Friday with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go get that dub. And let's make a statement out of these Patriots, out of a division rival on Sunday. Appreciate all you. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. I'll see all y'all on Sunday, baby. Smash that like button.